you have to ensure that there is an audit acceptance letter. Of course, the banks take care of the same. We don't have to worry on it. Second very important thing is the letter of communication to the previous auditor. There is a wrong notion that the bank audit is allotted by RBI to me. Why I should even communicate to the previous auditor? It is not so. For any assignments, any audit, it is compulsory on our part to communicate to the previous auditor, and you seek any objections if there are any. I've given a small link also in the drive which you can use it, but at the same time today you can use technology as well. I'll go to Chat GPT and let me see if it can help me prepare a letter for the same. In fact, of all the things what Chat GPT does, the smallest thing what Chat GPT does is only writing a letter. So there are things even beyond that which this tool does. So write a letter to the previous auditor for seeking objections, if any, on the bank audit. You can see that in a flash, a letter has come. If the contents are not correct, you can ask ChatGPT that, I feel the contents are not correct. You change it accordingly. Within 3 to 4 seconds, this will correct and give things to you. I'll add the letter is little long. Can you make it short? You can see this tool has given the letter in short as well. Now, let me ask you a question, whether you need to, how should you communicate with the previous auditor? By what mode? Can I get some answers in chat? Okay, email, it is only possible after COVID. So those days it used to be registered post with acknowledgement due or hand delivery, which was practically very difficult. Today you can get it through email. Only one catch in the email is the announcement of the institute tells very clearly that when you are sending email, ensure that a reply comes as well. So don't try to just send an email and tell that no, I've sent an email, my job is over. You talk to the concerned auditor and definitely get a reply telling that he has no objection. Because if there are any objections, you will have to see that is being taken care. Where you are not able to reach through email and the response is not there, then ensure that a physical letter through RPAD or in person is required. In person is ruled out because the person may be anywhere in the country and it is not possible for you to go there. Ensure that you use the registered post with acknowledgement due, and do add a word telling that if you do not reply within 7 days, I assume that you have no objections. Now the same letter which is above, we will tell instead of letter, can you help me prepare an email for the above. Now you can see the email itself is ready actually. Of course, you'll have to go through the contents and modify whether it suits what we want to tell or not. Alternatively, I can even give a draft and say, please paraphrase it or write it in a more structured or a formal way. And you can see the tool also is able to correct things. Now, for example, this is a format of one of the letters which I'm already having. I go to ChatGPT. Can you write the following letter in a formal way? So this is given in a formal way. Okay, you don't want in a formal way, make it less formal, yet not casual. You got it. So it all depends on asking how you want it, and the answers are available for you. And The answers are available in a span of 5 seconds, not even more than that. Don't forget to get an engagement letter also, because any audit assignment you do, engagement letter is a must. The institute format is being put in the drive and you can make use of it. And the other document requirements which you should have it is kept here, and you can keep adding things which you want. And don't forget to get the written representation, or what we call management representation, because there are so many times where we cannot completely rely on what the manager is just telling, but we need to take that in writing as well. Few banks, they may not permit you to get MR. In that case, mention the fact in the LFAR that these are the points which we want management representation, for which the central statutory auditor could help actually. So wherever you feel there is something which I should be getting it and I'm not able to get it because of some restriction, see that there is a risk mitigation done accordingly. And then a small tracker we have given for the certificates. All the certificates, what you give, ensure that you maintain a list. And in the end, don't forget to give a covering letter telling that these are the certificates which are signed by me with a UDIN so-and-so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the simple reason, no UDIN of ours should be misused later actually. Because there might be some certificates which would have got missed, and we will have to ensure that we have working papers, we have checked on it, and then those certificates go actually. And very important thing, for all the certificates issued, you need to have working papers also for it. So ensure that all the certificates which you give, there is a proper backing of the working papers and the correlation of things which are available in the financial statements. This is a small attendance tracker which we have kept. Like I'll just try to. So by just merely marking that how many people have gone, this will help you to track how many man-days have been spent for one branch actually. To keep track of, who are the people who are engaged in the audit. And today, in the perspective of peer review, all these documents are more important. You cannot randomly tell, no, we just spent this much time, these many people would have gone. And forget about after 1 year, even after 3 or 4 days, we will not able to remember who went actually. So it is better you keep track through the sheet. And I also prepared one certificate of attendance sheet, which gives the complete summary of how many days the branches, the mandates the branches got spent actually. And there are some banks who actually insist on the certificate of attendance. That was the reason we prepared this. But nevertheless, even if the bank don't insist, this information came very handy for us to know that how many people have spent how much time. There's the mandates from 23 going to 25. And for those who want to explore Excel, this is the formulas we have used, and you can explore as to how things have been done, where the output comes for the way you want actually. And today, where you have doubts on Excel, you no longer require tutors, you no longer require things. You can actually go to this ChatGPT and ask things, and it answers immediately and wonderfully well. For example, I want to know, can you give me an Excel formula to find duplicates in cell, say A2 to A560. You can see the formula is ready here actually. So today, as I told you, the smartness just lies in asking questions. You ask questions and you have the answers ready. And then very importantly, we'll have to peruse a lot of other audits which the branches underwent. And many a time, though we go through all those papers, we don't record what we have seen. So it is suggested that in this kind of small template which I have created, you can start doing your notings actually. First, I have put for frauds if there are any, including cash shortages. In fact, for cash shortages, beyond a particular limit, if there is a cash shortage, it has to be reported as fraud also. So ensure that all those things are being properly taken care. And if the branch is subject to tax audit, get the details of the concurrent auditors and then make entries of the major comments which is being mentioned in the concurrent audit report. Not only this will help you to formulate your LFAR or audit report, this will actually help you to prepare the audit program. That is why even before getting into the audit per se, I'm giving importance to the other audits, because these other audits will determine that which are the areas I must look into, what are the areas the bank is weak, and there could be trouble which should not create trouble for me as well. So concurrent audit, if the branch is subject to RBI audit, get the information and fill it so that you can plan your audit accordingly. The branch definitely would have undergone one inspection audit, closed or not closed, not an issue, but go through the draft report so that will help you to plan your audit in a better way. I've given some generic areas, you can keep adding whichever is available or whichever you feel the inspector has reported and that could create trouble for everybody. And very importantly, don't forget to peruse the preceding year statutory audit report, including the LFAR and the other reports. A lot of information comes from there actually. And if you go through the LFAR, I'm very sure there are a lot of chartered accountants who prepare so meticulously that half your job is actually done there itself. You have to just take it from there and do for that 1 year. So go through that, and if there are any points mentioned, those have been complied or not, you can see. So ensure that those things are adequately taken care, including your main audit report if there are any qualifications and disclaimers. MOC especially, because few branches pass MOC only during the current year. Few branches they do before the closure. Few they do it after the current year. Ensure that those entries are properly passed, and if there are any income leakages pending, those also have been recovered. The IS audit, if the branch is subject to, go through it and see if there are any comments which you should give attention to. If the branch is subject to any revenue audits, they have conducted any stock audit reports, get all the reports and see the financial health of their customers. Forensic audit reports, if they have perused, credit audit report, cash and currency chest verification report, if any. And there may be a lot of other things which would have gone to the branch, and you will have to definitely ask the manager that these are the things. And in the end, write in your management representation that the branch is subject to these audits as confirmed with the branch management 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because if the branch manager fails to give you one report, tomorrow they will say, sir, the person didn't ask. Now for us, even if he asks, we don't know whether the branch has been subject to some audit or not. So it is our duty to see that we get a written representation, and tomorrow if anything goes wrong, that can come to help to tell that, see, these are the things which the manager said and we have taken care. And lastly, very important is the key correspondence at the branch. There are a lot of communications which happen between the head office and the branch, and a lot of things may be relevant for the audit. If there are such things, ensure that those things are also being recorded here so that you can plan up your audit program accordingly. So this retention we will start with, which is one of the point in LFAR telling that whether the branch generally maintain balances which vary significantly from the limits fixed by the controlling authorities. Now I remember those days we used to give a very vague statement telling that the branch is generally complied or not complied. That was during the manual days where computers were not there, things were not available. But today it is actually possible for you to do things with the data which is available. Now in the raw data which I have put it across, you can see this is a raw data where the entire summary of the cash balance is available to me. So I copy this in Excel, Control C. Some other sheet has gone. Navinji or Nityaji, if there are any questions in between, you can stop me and take those. I don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Rather than
Actually,
waiting.
Sandeep,
Yeah.
sir, we have a question in the chat box, sir. He's asking that could you please demonstrate practically what your macro generate sheet links does?
Generate sheet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you can open the chat box and check once.
Great background material, sir. Could you please demonstrate practically what your macro generate sheet links does? Okay. Nothing. See, now this Excel sheet has got, say, because of the zoom, you can see these are the sheet names now. Now, for me to go to the sheet, I need to go to the sheet and keep on juggling. I don't know how many sheets are there. That generate sheet links, what it will do, it will give you an index of all the sheets which are there in the Excel file, and then it will give you the hyperlinks also. So it becomes easy for you to click the link and go to that sheet. If you open this, I'll show you what I've done. This is the institute's utility which it was given as by the Center of Audit Quality. Now you can see this particular sheet at 30 sheets names, and here I was able to generate this macro where everything came as a hyperlink along with the names. Now I need to go to this sheet. I just click this, it will take me to that sheet. So what I would have spent a lot of time, in fact, what I did, I will tell you, I've just used ChatGPT and I have given what it did also. This is the command which I gave, and this is the text with the code which ChatGPT generated. So you open any Excel file, copy this code, go to VB and run this code, you'll generate one index automatically. So for the user who has asked, you can try out and let me know if there is any feedback on that.
Thank you so much, sir. And sir, Rajesh, she is asking one question that one condition while seeking consent is that the audit entity has not previously completed 4 consecutive years as SBA. What to do if it's 5th year in continuation? I have copy pasted the question in the chat box because it was long back. Nidhan, sir, if
because
you
generally
cannot...
for a bank, you will only get appointed for 4 years. Beyond that, it will be new bank only. So he says what to do if it is the 5th year or in continuation. I don't think so because this is RBI guideline that a person cannot be appointed beyond 4 years. Beyond that, it is coming, please get a clarification even before you do, because tomorrow you also should not have violated the RBI guideline. And if they tell that no, there is some change and you are within the norms to do it, you can do it, no trouble with that. But as far as I go, I remember there is no way where somebody can do an audit beyond 4 years. Nitin sir, maybe with his experience, can share whether a person can be appointed beyond 4 years, sir.
Nitin sir, if you can put in your inputs.
Sorry, it may be by accident, but I've never heard of this kind of a situation.
Correct.
I say possibly in the cooperative sector where the cooperative department does the, they jump the gun and they want the activity for themselves and they do it. We have experienced that once we have gone there and the department itself had done the audit earlier. So we had to ensure that that was done according to the law and why we got the letter. We had to solve that issue. But this is rare. Yes.
Sanjay ji is telling in case of bank merger, it may happen. In the chat box, he has mentioned.
Possible, but you will have to get a clarification before you take it up, because tomorrow it shouldn't create trouble both for you as well as the bank actually, and more for the bank rather than us actually. Fine, we'll proceed with this tool where you can, with this small workings where you can actually give proper quantification of data rather than giving general ones. Now, this is the cash balance which was there based on the dates, and I've given the retention here, telling that if my cash balance is the date of the occurrence is beyond this date, you take before this date you take 5 lakhs, otherwise you take 40 lakhs. So this Excel file are we already shared. You can go through it and see the workings are good to go. And then automatically I get the retention. Now what I do is I do go for if condition, telling that if my cash balance is more than the retention, please tell it has exceeded the limit, or you tell it is within the limits. Again, another simple if function. Now I'm able to get the complete summary of how many days it has exceeded the limits. Now going further, I want to find the total number of days it has exceeded, total number of days it is within limits. And here if you see, I've given a simple count if function telling that count if the range between D7 to D371, which is the analysis which I have did, and count if the data is exceeding the limit, so that I get the total count of where the retention limit has got exceeded. So now you get to know that there are 340 days where the limit has got exceeded, and same exercise I do for within the limits. Only one thing I want to tell you, that whenever you are using this kind of bigger set of data and you feel that I may require this data again and again, please don't give this D7 to D371. What you can do is select, say, this D6 to shift control enter. And then here in the top right box, you can actually give the name as a name manager, telling that for this set of data, this is the name I'm giving. Here we have given analysis 1. Same thing for the cash set of data. I can give a name. Say cash underscore details. So the advantage is next time when I use things, I don't have to worry about giving the range again. What I can do now alternatively is I will say equal to count if open bracket. My range, the name what we gave was analysis 1. And you can see automatically this has come. Comma within double quotes exceeds limit. So I got the 340 here. So not necessarily that you have to give the range every time. If you feel there is a frequent occurring, you can do it that as well. Having done that, I also want to do a value addition, though there is no mention of that in the LFAR. I want to give the maximum cash balance and the minimum cash balance. For the simple reason, this point they're asking is because there is an insurance which is available for the cash. So the bank must know what was the maximum balance this bank actually held during the year. So for this, what I can do, I can just give the formula max. Max of cash will give me the maximum of cash. Minimum of cash will give the minimum. And then I can do a VLOOKUP. In fact, sorry, I did a XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, find this value from the B column and give the result in A column. Now for those who feel, sir, I can use VLOOKUP also. For this set of data, VLOOKUP is not possible. Why VLOOKUP is not possible? Because my data is in column B and the result I want is on the left side. So if I really want to use VLOOKUP, I don't have XLOOKUP function in my Excel. I'll have to insert this, do a Control C, Control V. Now VLOOKUP is possible. So my request to everybody will be, please go for the new versions of Excel, especially MS 365, which will help you to do a lot of newer things with ease rather than using the olden way of doing things actually. Now this XLOOKUP is a wonderful formula where you are able to do things with ease. Now this is a small thing which would generally take at least 5 to 7 minutes if you know Excel. And if you know less of Excel, it will take 15 minutes for you to do the exercise. Now this we will try to do using ChatGPT, whether this does the job for you. So for which you will require GPT-4 or GPT Plus, which is the paid version. And what we will do now is we will upload the cash balancing file. So now what I'm doing, I'm uploading this cash balancing file to the tool. Now a question may come up, sir, is it correct to upload a bank's data to a third-party server? My request will be, please remove the bank name and the year and then. All the codes of the bank should not go there. It is better, not that ChatGPT will immediately give the data to somebody, but tomorrow, if there is a data breach which happens in any of these tools, it can put us also into trouble. And we have signed a confidentiality and secrecy agreement with the bank. So ensure that you remove all the bank names and then you upload the raw data so that nobody can make out what the data is meaning. Now, having done that, I will go for some questions and see if I'm able to get the answers by analyzing this tool. So I'm telling ChatGPT now, first, can you give the information in Excel file for all the line items and remove minus before the cash column, because you saw that these balances had some minus before. So this will all get removed actually. And GPT-4 generally takes some time because it uses more set of data, internet, and then use the analytical tools to get the answers. So indirectly, what is happening, my text file also is automatically getting converted to Excel file in a proper way. And one good thing about ChatGPT-4 is you can see right away, it got an error and it didn't stop with it. It is trying to go and make an alternative analysis and see that whether it will able to process and give you the data. Generally, we have seen some tools work and then say failed. This will also fail at times, but most of the time I have seen, even if it fails, it will try 3 or 4 times in a different way and then try to give you the answers. Okay, till this is analyzing, let me go to the next one. Navinji, should I be covering the loan balancing file data sanitization? Which is
Sir, with the permission of the chair, you can, if Anitan
yeah,
sir says that he
Nitin
shall be
sir,
covering it, yes.
Nitin sir, this converting text to columns, should I use it? Sir, you have to unmute Nitin sir.
Well, we have a rainbow of participants here, those who are expert, those who are not. So might as well cater to all the extremes also. So you can go ahead and do it, please.
Okay, I will cover it once so that even if somebody is not knowing, they can get to it. Done, sir. So now you can see it tried 3 times where it got an error on its own and it ensured that it is able to generate and give me. Let us see if the data which is got generated is right or not. So now you can see, no. After 34, it has jumped to 31.3. So you have to tell ChatGPT, the data is not complete. Give me the same in Excel file for all 365 days. I think I saw some chat question that what is the data it can handle. I have tried for as high as 20 MB file, it has not failed actually. How can you know the balance to be maintained by the bank? You'll have to ask the bank. There will be internal circular telling that this is your cash retention limit. And tell them that I want the communication. Don't get it in Word actually. Or let the head office send a mail that these are the limits for the cash retention limit from April 23 to this date and this is the value. That should be enough for you actually. Okay, now we have got the full year. And let us see if this is also complete or not.
मोबाइल दे खत्म होने वाला है.
So now you can see entire 365 days data is being generated by ChatGPT from the text file. I didn't do anything. So we'll close this. And then ask the next question. Cash retention is this. Cash retention limit is 5 lakhs from 1st April to 18 January, and from 19 January, it is 40 lakhs. List the number of days the retention has exceeded the limit and the number of days it is within the limits. No, it has given the wrong answer now. The answer is incorrect. And rework. Or maybe my data has got changed, I don't know. Because of all the times I have tried, the first time ChatGPT has given a wrong answer. And when the answers are wrong, one thing you have to understand, it is garbage in, garbage out. Which means some of the times where the data which you have fed may be incorrect. Okay, it says that only maybe the data which we pulled and this is correct. I'll have to rework actually. We'll ask the next question about the minimum balance and maximum balance along with the dates. No, I think it has completely missed it. We will upload the data again. And my experience is where you feel things are going wrong, please start a new chat and do things. Generally, it gets it right actually.
Sir, can I ask one question in
Yes,
the chat
please.
box?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Vivek Jain ji is asking that Power Query is a better option to clean the data. Can you please elaborate on the same?
Correct. Very correct. But how much of us know Power Query is the question. If you are knowing nothing like that, because you do it for one case, for all other branches, it becomes easy. But this is for seniors who don't know Excel at all. They said, why you should be breaking my head learning formulas or trying to do things. But only one thing is, they also cannot completely relay this tool because now I know that the answer is wrong. So there is another counter check which I should know whether that is right or not. So we'll try it and leave it because maybe today it is off day for ChatGPT. Is not able to take our load. Seeing these many participants, it has also got scared. But my experience, friends, is the first time I'm getting an error. I'll have to rework patiently, opening a new chat, upload the file again, ask the questions again, and then get the answers.
And sir, Sanjay ji has asked one question in the chat box. In case of currency, just branch does not have any retention limit for branch cash.
Currency chest is not applicable. I'm talking about the general
yes.
branch. Yes. Obvious. Okay, I think it's continuously giving errors. We'll stop it for a lot of time. But for people, my request for everybody will be to please subscribe to GPT-4, which is only 2,000 rupees per month. It can do wonders actually. And the wonders to the extent that you upload the income tax notice, it gives you answers also telling that, please help me prepare a draft reply. Only one request: don't upload high net worth clients' income tax notice, because you are actually sharing the information to other tool. If at all you need to do, copy the text, remove the client's name, information, and then upload it.
Janji,
Yes.
what I propose, we can have one session on Chat GPT on 31st.
Yes, separately.
Sunday. So Sunday we can have session. We will talk and that we will talk.
So now this is the loan balancing file. I'll copy this to Excel. Now the problem with this data is everything has come in one row. So I need to sanitize the data so that I get the proper information. Then I'm able to do the analysis. So how I can do that? I select the entire row, go to data, text to columns. I won't be able to use a delimiter because for the data, generally they'll have comma, pipeline, or some proper spacing. But in this set of data, if I give space, the names will have all zigzag because some people have 3 names between spaces, some have 4. So it will be not possible for me to use the delimiter. So what I will do is I will go for the fixed width. In the fixed width, I will, before even we do that, what I can do is I can remove the top things which I don't want. Now I'll select the entire row, text to columns, and then fixed width, I'll start using the slices. So I'll give the first slice here, which will capture the product name, account number. Then I will use this where I don't want that slash. Then the dates. This you have to be little slow and careful, and you'll have to go through to see if there is any data which got jumbled between different columns. Because if that goes wrong, after you generate it, there is no choice but you'll have to regenerate it again. So please do it with patience, spend some time, because once you do this right, the whole audit and the audit workings, this will be able to help. Now you can see here, there was a small gap. Had I kept it like this, I would have been in trouble. So ensure that you have the sufficient spacings being done to see that the small data which has got shifted here and there doesn't shift columns. So I give next and finish. Now you can say my entire data is come handy. I need to select the entire data. How do I do that? If I give shift control down arrow, it will only help me select till the space are there. So what I can do is I can give shift control end. That will help me select the entire data and then apply filter. Once the filter is applied, what I can do, first thing what I will do is I will generate all the product numbers separately, which is a loan type. Why I want this? Because I want to know this 603 belongs to which loan type, and all those information I'll be able to capture it. My system has suddenly become slow today. Okay, I'm not able to add a sheet. I will do one thing. I'll copy it in a nearby place and keep it. Now what I can do, I can remove the ones which I don't want. This I'll delete. Here now, I want the first 3 line items only here. So one way of doing is go to text to columns and even slice this, or I can use the function known as left. And here also I can use the function, something known as concat. Concat, or for old versions of Excel, concatenate. The advantage of concat is I can actually select range and give the answers. It will help me to get things at once. So now I'll be able to know which category has got what loan actually. Now, having done that, let me go to the original file and remove all the unnecessarily column rows. So I go to the end. So I know I don't want this arrow. I don't want this line, continued, DP code, DP name, printed, product number, serial number, because I've copied that. So now these columns, I can go through line by line to see that some important information also doesn't go, or I can use shift control down arrow to select the entire range of data. I don't know, my system is suddenly slow today, maybe because of the sharing of screen. Yeah. Now that I've selected the data, now it is not stopping at all. If something it is not behaving correctly, I will do and I will close the file again. Okay, at last it has stopped. So now I'll do the reverse actually. Shift control, right click, delete rows, because I don't want these rows now. These were I felt not having. Now I'll remove the filter and show you to that I've got the entire set of data. And if any of the columns I don't need, it is only with this one I can remove. Now what I want to do is I will do the last leg of things where I want to know the account type from this. I mean loan type. I have to take pull 603 from this account number, because every account number will have the product code also. So to do that, I will use the mid function, equal to mid, open bracket, select the data. 603 starts from fifth digit 5, comma number of characters. I need 3 characters. Control C. I will do a paste special values. And now what I can do is I can do a pivot. I'll go to insert, pivot table. My range is this. Insert pivot table. So my pivot is now ready. What I have to do is I'll have to first click the loan type. I've got all the loan types. Against that loan type, let me check what the liability is. So this is my total liability in each category wise. And I will require the number of accounts also. So I'll take the name and pull in values. Now you can see in each category I've got it. And I know it is this 842, which there are 1,428 accounts. And what does 842 mean? AL gold loan, agricultural gold loan. So now I know this branch particularly has a lot of agricultural loans, which I must concentrate. For each category now, if where there are only one samples, if I check that thing, that category itself is over. And for me to prepare the working papers, now say there are 18 of these cases. It's not allowing me because of some error in this file. Just open. I double click, it will open the complete range of the data. And what I can do is, I can now say, suppose it is, because the information 603 had 18 cases. So I'll go to 603. In that, what I will do, I will sort from largest to smallest and shade the top 3 items, telling that this will be my sample and let me give my remarks based on the workings. And what I will do is, in that, I will add the latest file also. Telling these are the latest loan given to, I will add that also as my sample. So now what happens, the moment I capture this 5 files in this category, my audit thing is over as far as this category is concerned. And this comes handy for you because you have to write in LFR what are the loan accounts you have verified. So there you don't have to do the double exercise. So wherever the color shading is yellow, these are my working papers. I have got account number, name, and the balance. So I will just copy it there in the LFR, which will help me to fill that point also and give the information also as well. So there are 2 more points in LFAR that, whether you have conducted a test check, whether the interest discount is right or not. And then whether the test check has revealed any short or excess amount. Now, generally we give answers telling that, no, there is no problem. But tomorrow for you to have an audit evidence, you must have a printout of one of the accounts, or if possibly put it in an Excel sheet. Now, in this case, this was the account number. The person has deposited 1,000 rupees on 17th February. System calculated 3 rupees. And the rate of interest was 2.9%. We manually checked 2.9 and it came to 3.3 correctly for the days, 42 days it has worked. So likewise, ensure that a small working is available for you for your records. Not that there will be mistake in the banks. Still, because you are doing an audit, tomorrow, LFAR, there is a specific point that you keep evidence on. You are giving your comment based on that. Now we prepared this for FD also and loan account also. FD, you can see there were 3 interest rate changes which happened during the year. And then it was 56 first, 54 afterwards, and 42. And the system which debited also was 56, 54, and instead of 42.40 was 43. So rounding off, no issues. We were able to know that the calculation is going good. Same is the case with variance analysis. There is a specific question that after the balance sheet date and the date of the audit, whether there have been any unusual large movements. So for which, again, don't give generic comment by doing a manual scrutiny. Fill the information as at 31st March. Fill the information, say, on 7th April. Find the variance. Use a formula to find the variance percentage. And we saw there were variance huge in overdue deposits, but the amount was small, so we could ignore. There's a huge change in other forex deposit, but it seems there were only 1,46,000 worth of item. So that also we ignored. And in current account, there was a huge variance, which is understandable. So now we were able to know that there are no huge variance and we are able to give the positive comment in LFAR. Same thing with variance income and expenditure. There is a question in LFAR that are there any divergent trends in major items of income and expenditure? So we have given the expenditure as at 31st March, expenditure as at 31st 23, will give you the change in percentage. Same thing with income and income, this will give you the variance. This variance will help you whether there is any trouble or not. And if there is anything, you please get a satisfactory explanation by the branch. And that has to be recorded and then put in the LFAR. Next, when it comes to large advances. Large advances, the criteria is 10% of the aggregate balances, both fund-based and fund-based, or 10 crores, whichever is less. So here you can use Excel to exactly arrive at the figure telling that these are the total loans and this is the ODCC loan. Friends, I want to tell you here that The ODCC accounts as a separate exercise, which will not be available in the loan balancing file. Ensure that you take a separate record of that also for your audit. So this is the total loans, this is the ODCC loans, and then these are the non-fund based loans. And total there were 84 crores, 98 lakhs. So we gave a simple Excel formula telling that for the total value, you put 10% and 10 crores. Of the two, give me the minimum value, which is 8 crore 49 lakhs. So any loan balance with 8.59 crore or more will constitute large advances, which I'll have to definitely see and ensure that the LFAR's additional point is also covered when I file the LFAR. This is the LFAR point I was telling. So as and when you have did the exercise, you can fill this sheet. You can keep inserting rows so that this sheet gets filled. And then you'll be able to know how much you have audited against the total outstanding, so that you get to know how much was the year end which has got audited between fund-based and non-fund based. If the percentage is small, you please increase the sample size so that there is a reasonable percentage you have verified to arrive at your audit conclusion. So there are other items which I put in my other sheet which you can use. It is verification of physical cash, ATM, stationery, locker verifications, bank guarantees and LCs, accounts restructured during the year, fixed assets, income leakage. You can have a small template and then prepare it as well. So before we close, there are two things I would like to cover and close it. One is quick mortality. There is a separate point which has been asked in LFAR, that whether any accounts have become NPA within 12 months. How do you get the answers for? Get the list of NPA accounts which will have the sanction date. Now what we have did is checking if 31st March 2024, you can get to know how many days I have taken for this account to get into NPA. It is merely the year ending date minus the sanction date, which will give me the number of days it has taken to become NPA. And anywhere it is beyond 365, those are all quick mortality accounts which have to be reported as per this LFAR point. And as far as the question on the inoperative accounts becoming operative, we have seen generally when we go to the bank and ask the manager telling us, sir, can you give me the list of accounts which have become operative during the year? They don't have the information. So what you can alternatively do is get the list of inoperative accounts as at 31st March 2020. And then get the list of accounts which are inoperative as at 31st March 2024. Now what you can do is you can do a VLOOKUP telling that whether the account in 31-24 is available in 23 also, which means if it is there in the both list, we are not bothered, the account is still operating. So now what you can do, where it is not there, it is available in 2023, but not available in 2024. Those are the accounts which have become operative. So I can filter it with not applicable and then pick these as samples and tell them that I want to know the documents, what you have collected for the account to be verified and whether you have followed the bank guidelines or not. So what I'm trying to tell you is all the points in LFAR, you don't have to randomly write points and keep things. You can actually take information from the statements available, record the facts and do scientifically to prove that you did the audit correctly, and based on that samples you have judged at the reporting. And we have seen that when it comes to UDIN, we rush in the last minute and it becomes difficult to compile information and we waste half an hour in doing that. So what you can do is you can capture the information then and there so that when you want to fill for the UDIN, it becomes easy. And on UDIN, you have to understand that you require only one UDIN for all the audit report, LFAR and certificates, whether you sign it manually or whether you sign it digitally. If you are doing tax audit, separate UDIN has to be generated. But I think there are no banks now which give tax audit to the statutory auditors. And very importantly, as I told you in the beginning, prepare covering letter for all the certificates to avoid the misuse of UDIN. And if the certificate is signed on different dates, please generate separate UDIN. Don't use the same UDIN. And also, there could be occasion where some partner has to sign because you are not in the town or something like that. Ensure that a separate UDIN is also generated for those certificates where signing is done by more than one. And lastly, where there are joint auditors, ensure that everybody generates a separate UDIN. And in the end, we have prepared a small pending sheet. Now, based on the names what we gave, you can see the names have come. So this can help you to prepare things that who is responsible for what. Now say Nitesh is responsible for pulling the inoperative accounts. I can write and keep it. And somebody else is taking care of the NPA review. I can write it. So this becomes easy for me to track, and when things are over, I can give say Control-5, which will strike off the things telling that the job is over. So we have seen many a time we do the audit, but when it comes to end, we feel that this is over, that is not over. So ensure that you are able to put it here and then and there in an Excel sheet, which will give you the tracking. And this same Excel sheet can be put in Google Sheets also, and your persons can be given access so that there is a live updation of things which are happening, which will help you do the audit effectively and efficiently. So friends, thanks for the patient time. I think I'm able to cover maximum things which can help you do the audit with is given the limited time. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, excellent presentation, sir. Now I would request the chairman, Nitan Sirji, to please put some additional pointers or inputs, and what's your take on the discussion?
Yes, thank you. It was a very very good presentation, and in fact, it exceeded the expectation of most of us. I can talk on behalf of other people also. In fraud detection, it is always said that don't do extra effort, but do extra effort only in selection of the samples which you are going to check, which he has covered very well. I mean, if I tell you, for example, the accounts which have become operative from non-operative last year, to do that manually is what is recommended until he has said how to do it. Now, this is a very small.
Sir, I think कुछ network issues है, sir. I think there's some.
And made. So therefore, selection of these accounts, for example, the technology, use of technology saves us not only time, but saves our certificate, I would say, because you dig deep into it and select it from, like what we say, the proverbial pin in the haystack. That ChatGPT was able to do something more than drafting letters is itself an eye-opener. I mean, we have played around with that and found it very funny. But this is
I think there's some network issues. Correct.
Yeah.
ठीक है, sir. Please go ahead, sir, please.
Yes. I was closing with the remarks that I'm glad that I was able to view this session where the value of ChatGPT itself was explored in so much detail, so much practical. It was not theoretical at all, and especially covering the LFAR, where accurate answers can be given with low risk or no risk when all the data is considered. Thank you very much, sir, for investing your time with us, and then we'll go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. Dungar, sir, has elaborated on all the topics, and I think our chairman has already given a vote of thanks to him, because it was more of a vote of thanks. He has explained each and every point in LFAR and Chat GPT. Sir, are you staying till the end, sir?
I will stay for very time. I have another thing to.
Okay, sir. Sir, on behalf of all the participants, I give you a vote of thanks. Sir, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to inform all of you that our next speaker is not available with us right now. So I would request Dhananjay Sir Ji to start with his session. And before that, I would request our chairman, if you have anything to put on or any, starting points for our next speaker, you can. So,
Well, it will not be right for me to expect anything, and therefore that will be directing the speaker. He has come prepared for his explanations and whatever.
no, sir, yes, sir. As a matter of experience, sir, you are most experienced than all of us, sir, so that's why.
And I wouldn't say most experienced. I mean, everyone has his own experience, and that's what we are here for, to share experiences. So together as a team, like they call man hours, so we have man experiences, which will promote the industry. The idea is that if one of us fails, then the whole industry gets affected. Whether I know that person who has failed or not, I fail tomorrow, it gets affected. You get affected because your neighbor says, "Arey, what your people are doing, what is this industry doing?" And that is why we are meeting here. And thankfully, Pan India and such sessions, Pan India also spread the information very widely. Therefore, is the speaker available or should I go on?
Yes, sir, he is available. And sir, all thanks to the our past president, Nitesh sir, sir. Dhananjay sir, you can start with the session.
Okay. So first of all, thank you, Nitesh sir, for giving me chance to share some piece of knowledge I have during my few years of experience of bank audit. And let me tell you, this session is going to be interactive. So let me give you some overview of the session. So I would be starting with some uh, reports. So I would be demonstrating how you can import those reports in Excel using Power Query. So just it is a one-time effort. You do it for one branch, one account, and then you can scale up and apply for all the branches. And let's say if you audit for 3 years, multiply it by 3 times. So you can save your time for that. So that is the uh, theme for my thing. And today we are going to see that Power Query is a very easy thing. So generally, Power Query is so people think it is a technical thing. But let me tell you, after today's my presentation, you would see that Power Query would be very easy thing. Okay, so and after that, we would be having a live demonstration where, so I have one CC account and there are many red or you can call it orange flags. And it is, so it would be an interactive example and I would be requesting all the participants to catch all the red flags, even all the committee members also. Okay, so that is going to be an interesting thing of the session. Okay, so let's start. So let me share my screen. Okay, so please let me know if you're all able to see my screen.
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
So I'm not a big fan of PPT, but just for the sake of presentation, I prepare it. Okay, so highlight of the session or prerequisite. So which version of Excel I am using today? Office 365, which is the best version and which is updated, always updated. And I would be using Power Query of Excel, tables of Excel, pivots, and some XLOOKUP. So already DC Jen sir already gave some introduction of XLOOKUP. We will just build up on that. Okay, so I think let's start because I like more of the demonstration based session. I'm more of that person. Okay, but before I start with that, okay, now first thing I generally like in the audit to be done is that, so whenever we go to branch, okay, now there is a typical argument by branch manager, sir, this data doesn't come in Excel. Okay, so don't cross the branch manager. Just request him, sir, in which format can you export this data? Whichever format your system is exporting, we will accept it. Okay. So first break that statement. So branch manager will always try to counter that claim because if he directly gives in Excel, okay, then he has literally opened the lock and give a new whole home to explore. So very first thing generally I've seen that they will say, sir, this report is not available. So always ask for them, sir, can Finacle or any of the system, CBS system can generate in textual file and he will always see yes, because I know that all the systems generate in textual data. So just grab that file, and next thing, please select a sample. So it's not necessary that you should generate all the files. Okay, we are not doing a 100% checking. It's audit is just about the sampling. So very wisely choose the sample and ask branch manager to mail those sample files to our official email ID. And by the thing official, I mean not your firm name @gmail.com. So please be aware. So @gmail.com, @yahoo.com, these are not considered as official email ID. Google, Microsoft, or even Yahoo defines it as a personal um, email box. And what is the specialty of personal email box? Let me tell you. So you'll notice something in the personal email box. So if I refresh my email box, okay, can you see this something, this section? So these are my emails, but something has come extra. So I didn't receive anything from GoDaddy. I didn't receive anything from Google Cloud. Okay. So this is an advertisement. So one specialty of your Gmail @gmail.com is that Google scans all the text of your email address. Okay. And then they make it available to your marketers, advertisers. Okay. Like let's say, why did I get GoDaddy? Maybe in some of my email, I wrote that I want to purchase this email, personalized email from GoDaddy, or something has been written, and that's why it has generated a marketing email. So just imagine if something bank account number, name of the customer is there in your attachment, and it is coming you to your @Gmail or Yahoo. Naturally, it is indirect consent you are given to Gmail that yes, please extract keywords from this and make it available to marketers. It is not available for general public. Please be assured. Okay. General public is not able to access that, but marketers are able to access that. So what is the solution? So here is the solution. Okay. Now if you can see, this is not @gmail.com or something. This is whatever your office name. Let's say your firm name is XYZ and associates. So please purchase a business email ID. And good thing about the business email ID is that you will never see any advertisement. You will never see any advertisement here, because this data is never made available to any marketers. Okay. So Microsoft or Google keeps this data private. So generally they will not be accessing this data. Okay. So please, first thing is that grab some business email for your official email. So your partner name @yourfirmname.com, yourfirmname.in. That is your first step towards professionalism and privacy. Okay. So that is my first mantra, that please start. And it is not very costly. So I purchased this in literally 1500 rupees a year. So I don't think this is a costly. And my @office email @this.com, 500 rupees an year. So I think 2000 rupees an year, that is fairly means cheap investment. I don't think it is a very costly. Even our mobile phones or internet bills sometimes exceed higher than this. Okay. So please do this an investment, consider this an investment and start with this. Okay. So that we don't have to worry that are we doing any data breach or privacy breach. Okay. So this is saving us from the privacy breach. So I think let's start with some demo files. So always ask your branch manager, said, please email this to our official @thisfirmname.com email ID. Okay, because bank is following this @sbi.com, let's say Bank of Maharashtra.in. So they are following it from their end, that data should not be leaked. But if we are using personal email, according, again, it is my own statement, you may have some different opinion, but according to me, we are maybe not doing a data breach, but that is a loophole or loose end from our side. So please close this loophole from our side. Okay. Next thing, we will get your files. Okay. Like my branch manager. So I selected few accounts, 4 to 5 CC accounts, and I want to do some analysis from it. Now some tedious job. We are going to automate it. So I think first let's open any file. So I will open it using Notepad. Let me zoom this a bit. Okay, now next thing. Now you would ask that I am doing a data breach. No. So I changed every available text from here. So I invested 4 to 5 hours changing all the literally every text and every amount has been changed from the original bank statement. Okay, so don't worry about the data breach. It has been made dummy. Okay, nothing matches with the original bank statement. Okay, let's start. So now generally this bank statement is just 2 pages. So I think we can very quickly do some data analysis from this just by looking it. But things are not going to be same. Let's say next bank statement. I will open. Okay, now this bank statement is running multiple pages. You can see the scroll bar. Now from here story becomes different. Okay, so analyzing your bank statement, or let's say if there are any red flags in it. So now this becomes difficult. So now time for us to import this data into Excel so that life becomes easy and our data analytics becomes very quick. Okay. Now let's start importing our bank statement. So I will start with this just 2 page bank statement. And as even decision sir said, so I will reuse some things from his slide. So there is not a single way to achieve anything. Okay, there are multiple ways. I would try to demonstrate 1 or 2 ways. Whichever way you find it easy, you are free to choose. So I will demonstrate few ways. I think the first way is that Power Query, which I am very fond of, and I'm very much fan of Power Query. And I'm very sure after this session you would be even fan of the Power Query. Let's import this statement into our Excel using Power Query. So okay, but before that, now generally we are habit we start Excel like this. Okay, but I don't start Excel like this. Okay, because I don't like to keep anything on my hard disk. There are a number of reasons. Let's say I don't have a very big hard disk, or tomorrow, let's say I if I'm going to audit and this laptop is lost. So recently I was traveling to some session for some branch, and my laptop was almost going to be exchanged because we had the very similar patterns. Laptop models are very similar. So almost I was going to exchange my laptop with some other passenger of flight. Luckily, even that passenger got to know. So he literally opened his laptop because he felt that some different laptop was there, and we came to know. But it could have been different. So in that case, everything is gone. Okay. So always store your files in OneDrive, as decision said. So I would start my Excel file differently. Okay. I would not launch Excel like this. So I always use my browser. Okay. For this. So I always make some folder for my audit, organize it into multiple folders. Let's say this is my folder for this branch, specific branch. Let me make folder for my branch. Let's say branch 01. You will have to give the name properly. Okay, folder created. Sometime it doesn't updates. You'll have to press refresh. Okay, now I'm going to make an Excel file from here. Add new Excel workbook. So this is going to launch browser-based Excel to do this. Okay, let's name our file CC account. Later on, you can change the name. Okay, for the simplicity, I'm just renaming this file to CC account. Okay, now you can open this file from Excel for desktop. This was Excel for web. It has 90% functionality of your Excel for desktop. Only thing is that it is missing Power Query. So I'm going to use Power Query. Otherwise, it has all the features of Excel. Okay, you can write formula, make statements. Okay, anything you can do. So I will just launch, or I would just close this. My file got created directly on cloud. Now I will just click on triple dots and say launch from app, not browser. This first time it launched from browser. almost same look and feel of the Excel. Okay. Now the next thing is, so can you confirm that is my voice clearly audible, or maybe I need to boost?
It's audible, sir. It's
It's
perfectly
audible.
audible, sir.
Perfectly audible. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that browse this statement from Power Query. So I'll go to data, get data from file. Naturally, we are not getting Excel file. So we are going to get text file. And please don't be confused about the extension. I have seen many CAs that if nothing, no icon comes, hey, this file is not openable. No, no. Please do not go by extension name. Generally, this extension comes from Finacle as RPT, PRN, or something different. Never go by any extension name. Okay, extension names are misleading. I can literally rename things as .docx also, Word file. Okay, so extension is just a fake thing. So don't go by extension name. File, text, and CSV. Okay, I will choose my desktop. Okay, by default, this file will never come here because it extension is not txt or csv. So I will say all files. Okay, now it comes. Let's start with that small statement called Krantivir Trading Company. Again, a fake or dummy name I given. Let's choose import. Now this is a very typical Power Query window. Okay. Now in the first instance, Excel would never be able to decode the statement. Okay. Please make sure it would never, because it has not become so much intelligent that it would decode and present it. But don't worry, we have intelligence, we'll utilize that. So I'll press transform data. So it will appear this ambiguous. Don't worry. Okay. And please note the steps we are going to do this. Power Query would be recording all the steps. Okay. All the steps one by one. Just like macros, it records the steps. Okay. So the very first step is that I need to tell Power Query that how is my column splitted. Okay. So I'll have to give the numbers, column number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like this, from where my column ends, every column ends. So I'll have to minimize this and I will have to open this file from Notepad or Notepad++. So I generally install a software called Notepad++. This is very handy thing. I opened wrong statement. Krantivir, Notepad++. Okay. Now the first thing, now this is again one-time step. Okay, first applicable for every individual branch. So if you do this correctly for CC account for specific bank, this would be applicable for every branches across multiple years. The structuring never changes. Okay. So I need to tell Power Query column endings of every column. Okay, column endings of every column. Now there is a thumb rule that date and number is always right aligned. So I very well know that where my withdrawals and deposit column ends. Okay, so I can simply place my cursor here at the end of the date and I can tell. So if you see position, okay, COL, that means line number, and COL, column number. So this column ends at column number 11. Okay. Withdrawal column ends at column number 92. Okay, like this we know. Only thing which you need to experiment is that narration or particulars column. So hypothetically, you have to find some column ending for it. Now in this case, it doesn't matter. Okay, and never go by column headers. I have seen many times headers shifting to next columns. Okay, literally next column. So never use the column headers. Like if you see balance is going into the debit credit column, which I don't want. Okay. So never go by column headers. Always try to look for column endings in the data section. Okay. So let me start making a note of endings. Okay. I will and I will try to write where the column ends. So and this has to be started from 0. Okay. So 0 is my first column. Okay. Now date column ends at column number 11. Okay, so I have to minus 1 because in Excel starts Notepad or starts counting column from 1, but Excel starts counting column from 0. So I have to reduce 1 from this. Okay, so column number 11. So I will write 10. Okay, the particulars column is roughly ending somewhere here. So right way to search if the column ends or not is that generally if you have very long party name or narration, it would literally cut off at the column ending. So you can always keep that point. Here I will straight roughly put some this 4 to 5 characters. I will add this. Let's say roughly it ends here. Column number 64. That means I can write 63. I can later revise this. Okay, check numbers and somewhere here. Column number. Okay, it's ends somewhere here. Column number 72. That means 71, comma, sorry, 71, comma, withdrawals. Now amount column is very easy. Column number 92. That means I have to write 91, then deposits and at column number 111. Now this one might look very small, so I cannot unfortunately zoom this. So at the bottom, you will get column number. So 110 minus 1. And in the balance, okay, if I scroll, there is debit or credit. So I want to treat debit and credit differently. Okay, debit and credit should be different because that is a plus minus for us. Okay, Excel doesn't know what is debit and what is credit. Okay, so I will separate this out. So I will say my balance column ends at 130. That means 129. And the last, so I don't have to write the last column. It is a residual column. Okay, so I will copy paste this and I will paste this in the Excel. Okay, Power Query. So I will select this column, go to transform, and I'm going to say split my columns by positions, and I will paste this. Okay. So probably you should have noting of this somewhere as your master file. Okay. And let's press OK to see if it happens correctly. Okay. So I think it went smooth. Yes, debit. You just have to ensure that your all columns should not get and cut into different shift. Okay. Your number should not get shifted to different column because that would be misleading. Okay. Okay. This went well. Let's say if you do any mistake, no worries. You can always go to this split columns step and click on this gear icon and you can revise this number. Okay. You can always revise this number and again go back to this change type. Okay. Next theme. I'm not going to name headers like this. Okay. This is a CC account. Okay. So I will name whichever fashion I want to name. Okay. Let's say I want to rename in debit credit fashion. Okay. So I will, so this first column is date. I'll double click and name it at date. Okay. Second column is narration. Okay. Third column is CHQ, check number, CHQ, let's say. Okay. Now there are two ways. Okay. There are two ways. Either rename this as withdrawal and deposits or rename this as a debit credit. So this is a CC account. Okay. Naturally, CC account is by default, if you are drawing the limit, it would be debit. So bank would be having debit balance receivable from us. Okay. So let's name this as a debit and credit. Okay. So let's say if I am debiting anything, withdrawing, it would add debit and my balance is increasing. Okay. My balance in. So I should name this column as debit DR or you can write it debit also. Debit, credit, and this would be balance. Balance. And this is very important column called sign, SIGN. Because let's say if it turns out to be credit balance somewhere in, so this should appear as minus. So credit would be minus for us. Okay. So we will have to recalculate this balance column. Okay. So that's the reason I rename this column as sign so that I can multiply this. Okay. But before that, I need to do some cleanup. There is lot many extra data here. Okay, multiple pages came here, all this extra, this printing stuff came here. So I need to get rid of this thing. Okay. So next step is that we need to tell Power Query that this column, XYZ columns, contains which type of data. Is it numerics? Is it date or is it text? Okay. So ABC means text. So narration column data is correct. Okay. But date column, it has decoded it as a text because Power Query got confused. Somewhere it saw dates and somewhere it saw this thing. So it was under confusion. So very safely it assumed it as a date, sorry, text. But we are going to force it and tell that please convert this to date. So I will click here and I will forcefully convert this to date. Okay. So naturally, wherever text was found, you will get error. Don't worry. I want this error. Okay. I deliberately want this error. Okay. Next thing, debit, credit, and balance. These are numeric columns. Okay. So I will go and change this to decimal number. Okay. Decimal number, not whole number. Debit, credit is also decimal number. Balance would also have decimal. And sign is ABC. That means debit textual. That is fine. Okay. Next thing we need, and check is now check can always have UTR number. Okay. NEFT, UTR, something. Okay. So I am not concerned with text check. So let it be text. Next thing is cleanup of the data. Okay. Cleanup. So I want to get rid of all these errors and nulls. Okay. I just want to keep only those rows where some date is there because beside date there is a narration or particulars. And in that same column, there is an amount. Let me show you something. Like let's say if our narration is going into multiple lines. Let me see if there is any instance of this. I think in this bank statement, there is no such instance where my narration is overflowing. Okay. So I think in some different statement, I would have that. Don't worry. So I want only those rows where date is there because naturally amounts are also there in this rows. So I will tell Excel to remove first of all empty rows, error and null. Null means empty. Okay. If there is blank text, it doesn't get converted into error. It gets converted into null or empty. So I'll say, please remove the empty rows. You can always undo this. Okay. Sorry. So I'll select this. I think I'll have to first remove the errors. Until that, I cannot do it. You can see the errors. Okay. So I will first have to tell Power Query that please remove this error. So I'll select this. Okay. And do a find replace. So replace error with nothing. Okay. I will write nothing. No text here. Replace error with nothing. Okay. It doesn't allows me to replace it with nothing. Let me try to write double quote here. Okay, even it doesn't accept it. Let's say, let's do some keyword. Okay. Let's say I will write 0. Replace error with 0 or maybe A. I think it would not allow me to do this. Okay, enter a date value. Okay, it wants me to enter a date value only. So what I can do, I can just convert this to text first. Okay, again convert it to text, or maybe let's keep it. Okay, let's do this in Excel. Don't worry about this. Okay, enter a date value. So maybe I can write a date. Let's say 0101 1999. Okay, 0101 1999. That is a placeholder date which doesn't exist. Okay, 0101 1999. So technically, okay, now I can tell Excel that please filter out null and this date. Okay, please filter out null and this date, 1st Jan 1999, because that is my out of my audit for you. Let me press OK. Okay, so all the errors removed. Okay, now I want 0 to be written in debit and credit where there is no amount. Okay, so I'll say replace null or blank with 0. Replace blank with 0. Okay, like this. Okay, next thing, if I see a debit written here, treat it as positive. But if I see a credit CR written here, treat this balance as negative. So I am going to add one more column and say, let's say underscore balance. And so if I see this sign is equal to, in double quotes, DR, then I will say copy this balance as it is. Okay, copy this balance as it is. Otherwise, multiply this balance with into -1. Okay, so if debit is not written, that means credit, then multiply this balance with -1 so that credit is -1. Okay, and I will say treat this as again decimal number. Now I don't require this balance and sign, so I will select and remove this column. Now if you are able to see my screen, Power Query is making a note recording of all the steps. I can go always to back any of the steps to see what I have done. Okay, so it is recording all my actions. Okay, so I even need to remove. Okay, so I need to remove two columns. Balance I don't require, sign now I don't require, and I will rename this column to now balance. Okay, okay, we are finally done with close and load. Now this is just one-time efforts. Now for the next 3 and 4 years, you will never have to do this. Just half an hour efforts for your lifetime of that bank or the CC account. Now this is recorded and this is taken care. Now I can reuse this step for every account of every branch, literally every account of every branch. I will show you up. Okay. So this way, this statement got generated. You can rename this sheet. Okay. And now you can very easily make some analysis. So you can always set pivot tables, or let's say if you want to check the charges, interest. So I can look for the patterns like int.coll. Okay, something. So what are the interest? Okay, so these are the interest amounts. Like this, you can verify whether this was done correctly. Okay. Now let me tell you that how this has made your life simple. Okay. Now let me tell you, demonstrate one more thing. Okay. So this was my CC account. Okay, let me rename this as account. Okay. And I'm going to close this file. Okay. So this was just about one client. Let me rename this file. So this was for Krantivir. Okay. Now what I can do, I can make a copy of this file. Okay. So I can do this even from OneDrive software. I can go to my session folder. Okay. I will make a copy and paste. Control C, Control V. Okay, this time I want to reuse this step. So I want to import A1 creation. Okay, A1 creation account for this. So I'll rename this to A1 creation. Okay, now please see the magic. Okay, so we did this for Krantivir, just one-time steps. Okay, then we made a copy of this and I renamed this file as A1 creation. Now I'm double clicking and open it from Excel offline. Enable content. Don't worry, there is no macros. This is a Power Query connection. Okay, now I just need to swap, do very small thing. Okay, I just need to do very small thing. I'll go to queries and connection in the data tab. Okay, and I will just edit this And now see the magic. Okay, I will just edit this. So now if you notice at this start, now don't worry about this. So okay, this is, don't worry about this name. This is just dummy name. Okay. Now if you see, Power Query was recording my step. So my first step, it literally browse the file. In the first step, I browse the file. So if I click here, if I click here, I can now browse the another file of the A1 creation. Okay, A1 creation. So instead of Krantivir, so I started with the Krantivir. Now I will just browse the same file, file for A1 creation. Okay, and I will say now continue the same steps, apply the same steps to A1 creation. And let's go to the last step and see if it happens correctly. Okay, so you might sometimes see anything happening with this. Sometimes your column headings are not correct. So I think somewhere our columns went there. Okay, column went there. Let's go to split step. Okay, now can you notice our check number slightly got exceeded? Okay, check number slightly got exceeded and went into the number thing. Okay, so check one. So this was 10, 63 and 71. So two characters overshot, undershot. So I will have to adjust this. Okay. Okay. Now not text check numbers went correct. So you might have to revise this for one or two times, and after you get a hold of that, where are the column numbers ending, you can reapply this. Okay. Let's get to the last step. Now it, yes, now it went correctly because Excel automatically corrected next steps. Okay, I just made a column ending correction, and after that it went very smooth. And just close and load. You are finished. In one click, you can simply browse the file. You can simply go to right click it, edit. Okay, go to the statement first line, and you can simply click on this gear icon, browse the next file, and it is done. Close and load. It will refresh with the next statement. Okay, let me show you whether different statement was open. Okay, you can see. You can see this. Okay. So likewise, this is just one time half an hour job. Invest half hour once and you are relieved for always you are relieved for this. Okay. And later on, we can do many of the analysis based on this. Okay. Let's say now I think so I have taken one more statement as a case study because as such in this statement, in these two statements, I didn't find any uh, red flags or yellow flags. These were very normal statement. Let me, I think, import one more statement where we had made lot many qualifications. Okay, let me open this. Now, this is a very interesting statement. Okay, very interesting statement. And I'm sure you are going to enjoy this case study. And I would request everyone to, in this case study, use your chat window. If you ever find that maybe you should share any of your red flag, directly unmute and you can share this. Okay. So everyone is free to share input for our next case study. Okay. Same statement. Okay. Same column ending. Maybe I can reuse this thing. So I can reuse my Power Query file. I think almost it looks same. But I think let me show you another way to do this. Okay. Because I'm sure that some of you may say, no, this is a very difficult way. We are not very used to Power Query. So let me show you another way, whichever way you feel comfortable with. So let me open next Excel file. So this is Marco Carbide. Okay. Don't worry, this is not a original one. All the names changed, all the amounts changed, all the text changed, everything is changed. Bank name changed. Okay. Marco Carbide. So beauty of this approach is that your data always remain on the cloud. So you will not lose any, even 1 second of your uh, data. Okay. Let me open this in Excel app. And did you notice? So at the top, auto save was on. Okay, so let's say whenever I type anything and press enter, automatically it gets saved. Okay, anything I type, let me show you. Anything I type and press enter, please notice this, moment I press enter, it automatically saves. Okay, let's say if I open this, close this file, and let's reopen this. Okay, everything was saved. So moment I press anything and press enter, it is automatically saved. So I think max 1 or 2 seconds of data you would be losing, and I think that is very fine. This is one big advantage of this. Okay, let's reuse our Excel files for Carbide, or sorry, I want to show some different method of importing. Okay, I will not reuse my Power Query thing, because I'm sure you might even like this method. Next method I am showing you. Okay, now next thing is that there are multiple approaches. Okay, let's say we copy this and paste this in Excel, and maybe do a text to column. This is one way which decisions are demonstrated. Okay, I'm showing you another way, which is very simple, and this is available with Notepad++. Okay, normal Notepad can select like this. Okay, select like this, but let's say you want to select just date column, only contents of date column. In normal Notepad, let me show you the normal Notepad. You would not be able to do this. So there is a echo. So I will request everyone to mute their microphone. Okay. Now this is the drawback of normal Notepad. I cannot select just, let's say I want to select only contents of date column. So it automatically gets selected. All the columns get selected. But Notepad++ is a free software. Okay. It is open source and free software. You can download, you can just maybe go and Google it. Notepad++. Okay. It is free. It is not chargeable. There are no paid plans in Notepad++. Okay. And if I make I can make a selection like this. Okay. I'll select this, and then I'll press Alt Shift down. Okay. Can you see? I can make a vertical selection of text. This is not available in your Windows Notepad, but this Notepad++ can make something like this. Press down and extend my selection. Okay. Don't worry. Alt Shift up and again down. Okay. So I can literally do a copy paste like this. Copy this and paste it here. Paste it here like this. Sorry. Again, Control C, Control V like this. Okay. Can you see? Same I will do for, so my big cursor. So my cursor has extended to multi-line. Let's do for next line. So this time I'm going to merge check number also, because I'm not concerned with check number. It doesn't has anything to do with, or maybe I exclude check number. I don't want check number there. Okay. As such, many people don't use checks. So I'm not much interested in check number column. Okay. Alt Shift down like this. Alt Shift up. Okay. Control C, Control V. So this was our narration column. Let's copy paste debit credit in the same fashion. I will select something like this time. So it is very intelligent. It is automatically detecting numbers. Notepad. Paste it. Same way. Deposits. copy, paste it, and the balance. So I know there is and the balance. I'm going to select like this. So this, so this is a tedious way, and I agree, but at least it does your job. It definitely does your job. So whichever way you are comfortable with. So it is a long cut, I will say. Power query is the best, but if you want to do this, you're free. I think debit credit column, it was not able to do this. Okay. But naturally, don't worry, there is no credit balance here. It is debit. So I can safely ignore this. If you want, you can. But I know here there is no CR credit. Now let's start with our red flag analysis. Particulars. Okay, this is our withdrawals, debit, credit, balance. Okay. So I'll freeze the top row. View, freeze the top row like this. So I can very easily scroll, then change this to date, short date, and let's remove our garbage. So I'll select all this, Control Shift End, just like DC Gen sir told. Go to data, filter. Okay. And I will just select this garbage thing. Okay. Cumulative date, blank. Okay. All this thing I don't want. Okay. I don't want all this thing stuffs. I'll simply select like this till end. Alt semicolon, control minus, delete all those selected rows. Okay. And then let's remove the filter. And now we have our data ready. Okay, now let's start with our interactive session. So I want everyone, so all the management committee and all the participants. So you are all free to use your microphone, or
Yes,
maybe if
I
it
would
is
request all the participants to raise their hands one by one and unmute themselves and can ask question, because what will happen, it might become a chaos if
yeah,
everyone starts
exactly. It
question.
would
Yeah,
become
yeah.
chaotic and echoes would come. Yeah, I think that is a very good idea. Okay, let's start with red flag analysis. So I am not going to detect any red flag because I want all of you to detect red flag for me. So for the time being, please consider me as a junior or article who has just joined articleship. So I was just techno savvy. So I did this job for you. Now you are partner and senior chartered accountants, and I had given this file to you, and I'm learning from you that sir, what are the red flags? So how can I determine that if there are any red flags? Not now, please note, not all the red flags qualifies for your makes you think that you will make a qualification or maybe this account would turn NPA. No, you might find some red flags which you might want to mention here, that yes, due to this we are of opinion that this might turn NPA. So in our case, this account turn NPA, so we never wrote NPA, we just wrote that there is a probability that this account might turn NPA, and we wrote very long 5 to 6 red flags in our LFAR. So we didn't declare it NPA, and you will come to know that why you cannot qualify this account as NPA. Okay, let's start. So let me give you some information. So the drawing power DP was set to 7 crores. Okay, DP of this account was set to 7 crores. Now asking you question one by one. So now I can see the limit being exceeded. It is a CC account, cash credit account, and sanction limit was 7 crores. So at the very start, you can see it is going beyond that. But does this qualify? So can I say now it is overdrawn and it is NPA?
The participants can also mention the answers in the chat box also
Yeah, in the
if they
chat
intend
box.
to. Yeah.
I think let's have this in.
Sanjay ji is telling no, sir. He's telling no. Shubham ji is telling no.
Okay, chairman of our session and other are knowledgeable thing. So I think let's ask our chairman. Sir, chairman, sir. So uh, can we agree with our participants that just maybe it is going, it would not be good? Yes, 90-day overdue. Correct. It should be overdue by 90 days. Yes, continuously, whether it is being overdrawn continuously or not. So this is the next thing we need to find. Don't worry, we are going to find this. Okay. And generally, I have seen that bank has that system. If it is overdrawn for 90 days, automatically banking system would automatically classify it for days. Many years have happened and our CBS system have already evolved. So that day it catches. So naturally, do you think borrower will do this? Naturally, what is going to happen whenever is it is going to overdrawn for multiple days? Please tell me typically what happens. I've seen typically this happening. So I think let me show you some uh, interesting things. Let's say I want to filter out all the credits or uh, deposits into account. Okay. Let's say over and above 50,000. So I will say greater than 50,000. Now please start mentioning some red flags. Okay, not necessary every red flags qualify that, hey, this is going to an NPA. You can always mention some red flags. What are the red flags you see here? The very one red flag I am able to see this. Suspicious thing, you can say that yes, we are having some suspicion due to this. Is there any pattern being followed? Please tell me, is there any pattern being followed? Let me zoom this a bit. For the time being, I will squeeze the debit column and I want all of you to concentrate on these three columns and or maybe these two columns. And please start sharing your red flags. Okay, I will slowly scroll and you can see the red flags. Yes, correct. Pratik sir has round figures. Okay, deposits are happening at the round figures always. Now, do you think when we, so let's say our Marco Carbide is selling anything, okay, is doing sales. Now, is it possible that every bill would be rounded like this? 1,30,000, 1,20,000. So do you think people do like this? So let's say you have to set amount as sell 1,20,000. Do you reverse calculate GST and this? No, I don't think. Or reverse calculate VAT. So this was of VAT area, sorry, GST and VAT era. So do you think even in this era, VAT area, we used to do reverse calculation? We used to set sales amount in round and reverse calculate VAT and GST. So yes, this is something suspicious. Yes. So Nitan sir has given very excellent observation. And Nitan sir, literally this observation which you have made, the bank recognize in the next year that yes, your this observation led us to the suspicion, and we literally. So Nitan sir has said that we can see credits for only 4 to 5 parties. Okay, and even we wrote this in our LFAR. We never qualified it. We never called it coalition, but we wrote these points in LFAR and we intimated RO and ZO that we feel that maybe central statutory order maybe see this bank statement and we feel that it is going to be NPA maybe in the next year. So it is up to them and yes.
Sir, I do have one doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, in
Yeah.
many cases, the party deals with like this because they purchases the goods and whenever they are making the payments, they make the payment in the round figure. Their current account balance or their account balance remains in the figures and at the last of the year and or at the last of the period they make the whole payment. So
Okay.
I think this should it may be a red flag, but on the basis of it should it be reported in LFAR?
Okay, so I'm extending one more view to you. I agree to it. Okay, so yes, we can many times you may make a round amount payments. Okay, you make a round amount payments.
Yes,
But can you see why a payment made every day and in every day? Can you see Radhe
yes, yes,
Enterprises again on its one more transaction, 1 lakh 50, 1 lakh 50? Doesn't it make sense to make a
yes,
consolidated payment? Why this is being done?
yes. This is the red flag that on the same day, the same party is making the
Yeah,
payments
exact.
twice a day or thrice a day, and that too in the round figure.
Yeah, exactly. So this doesn't seem normal because
Yes,
we
yes,
chose
it is a
almost
red
8
flag,
to
sir.
10 bank statement, and we saw that this was never happening. Why only this account? So slowly we started. So we literally took this account, discussed this with branch manager to 4 to 5 days, and initially he was not agreeing to us. So he said, सर ये तो हो ही सकता है ना, ऐसे तो पार्टी कर ही सकती है ना, वो तो उनके ऊपर है, तो आप क्यों इसको क्लासिक? So we started
Mhm.
raising the red flags, and even branch manager was knowing that. So he was knowing that party was fishy, but he never wanted us to qualify. So we started writing in the LFAR. Now again, I am not an expert on this, so maybe Nitan sir or our chairman sir can say that, does it, can we qualify? No, I don't think.
शुभम जी is asking sir, what may be the case, मतलब क्या केस हो सकता है कि that they are depositing in round figure, and Vinodji is also asking a question in the chat box, sir. If you can take them up, sir.
Yes, I think I am not expert. We will keep this as an interactive session with our even chairman sir and management
Yes, yes,
committee
yes, yes, yes.
participating with this.
Okay, can I butt in?
Yeah.
Looking at the statement and also the round figures and the frequency of taking money from them, this is naturally an accommodative transaction, an accommodation itself. And since the party is privy to this information, the definition of fraud comes into play because the party he knows about it and yet it is trying to misrepresent the operations here. So I would stick my neck out and call it a fraud. Uh, that is what, with the supporting statements over here, a visit to the borrower with the manager, that would take care of it and provide a basis for defining it as a fraud.
Yes, I think a great observation, sir. Okay, so as Nitan,
Sir, I
yes,
would like to add one more point about this account that we will insist the party to provide us the details of their creditors from which they are purchasing their goods, or and also we will get the list of debtors to whom they are selling the goods, because this credit is only from four or five parties. So in that case, we can decide upon that who are their debtors, and then onwards we will carry our audit procedures further.
That is true. I mean, I've seen cases where the borrower has only one client, only so therefore one debtor. So the benefit of the doubt can be given, but I think a visit to the borrower's office will give you more confidence to arrive at a conclusion on whether it is an innocent thing or not. And unfortunately, the NEFT, the UPI payment speed has permitted the borrowers to ensure the account remains in the drawing limit or the drawing power, whichever is lower. And
Yes, yes,
this is the tool which is found out here, I think.
yes, yes, yes.
okay. So I think Nitan sir is leading us to very means accurate thing. Okay, so Nitan sir, I will add one more thing. Okay, so this was only 1/3 of the story. Okay, so you are literally now leading us to you are uncovering the story. Okay, so let me start uh, exposing few more things. Okay, now I think let's try making some our notes. Okay, I always start making notes on this. So I think definitely maybe we can make a note of which party, okay, which are the parties we are frequently finding. Radhe Enterprises. Okay, so I'll say Radhe Enterprises. So I can see many things. Amrut Industrial. So I can maybe copy paste this. Okay. Sometime even they try to change narrations. Sometime I see even sometime a bank account is opened by name Amrut Industrial PVT Ltd. In some banks, narration is printed as Amrut Industrial. So let's capture a keyword called Amrut. Okay. Radhe. So this helps me a lot.
Adinath.
Aditya. Okay. Let's capture the keywords. And this is somewhere we can play very smart. Okay. Adinath. Okay, I can see this Adinath frequently happening. Okay, I already wrote. And which are the more? I think these 3 to 4 are Amrut, Radhe, Adinath. Okay,
NK
and one
Ramasa.
more. Yes,
NK Ramayasri.
NK.
Ramayasri.
I think let's try to drill and Rama, but I would not get many. Yeah, I'm getting many transactions. Yes. Okay, so let's copy this words Ramashri and Amrut. Yes. Okay. Now let's uncover next portion of of story. I will clear filter from our credit or deposits. Now let's impose our filter on debit. So I'll filter out. So let's keep some threshold. So I don't want 3, 4 and this bank charges. Let's say again greater than 50,000. Okay. I'll have to treat this as number. I think somewhere the text came. So it is not maybe allowing me. Okay. In this case, we can do one adjustment. So now number filter is not appearing because there are spaces there. So I will use a function called trim. Okay. And now let's see. And I would say extract number. That means value from this. Okay. 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 So there are spaces. Don't worry. Don't worry. Copy and paste special values. Okay. And I can simply delete this. Okay. There are spaces only. So I'm not concerned with this. And I can replace this value with 0 or nothing. Control H. Value with nothing. Okay. Now let's uncover our remaining. Okay, let's uncover our remaining story. Now I have number filter enabled. Okay, greater than 50,000. Okay, let me keep this notepad file handy. So I will maybe squeeze this. Okay, now I want all of you to start identifying the red flags. Okay, so can we say that we are purchasing, these are our maybe vendors. So we are making payments. So probably we would be making payment to our vendors. I don't think we means our purchasers or services. Okay. Any red flag? Let me check. Yes, our audience has now started uncovering things. Is there any red flag?
Most of the time, payment is to single party Marco Carbide
Yes,
Private Limited.
Marco Carbide. So it appears that we are just purchasing from one party and selling to it to other one. Okay. Now the name of the state borrower itself is a Marco Carbide. Okay, this was Marco Carbide firm, and there was a company called Marco Carbide Private Limited. Okay. Now what do you say about this? Any red flags you want to point out?
It is transferring to its another account, or if it is of the same party, then it is a same party's account transfer, or if
Okay.
it is a different party, then it is a payment to a single party.
Jireji
Okay,
is
so-
telling that it's an intercompany transaction in the chat box.
Okay, now intercompany, let me add you some information. Actually, when we checked few information from branch manager, okay, so now we started uncovering that the Marco Cardbat Private Limited and this Marco Cardbat firm, the proprietors, sorry, the partners and the directors were the same person. Now I added an information, some information. Now please start telling me. Yes, exactly. Related party. Related party. Okay. All the related parties transactions, they were okay. And I think Nitan sir already gave us one big hint. Okay. They already gave us one big hint. So, and when we went, okay, you would be surprised when we went to checking these things, even in the Radhe Enterprises, we saw that one of the director in that Marco Carbide Private Limited was there as a partner in Radhe Enterprises. Okay. And these are our sellers, and these are our vendors, Marco Carbide PVT Ltd. Now can we start? Okay. Double finance on this stock. Okay. Let me even uncover few more things. So when the branch manager upon RO's insistence, when the branch manager went to the Marco Carbide, he didn't saw any stock. There was no stock. Okay, stock auditors went. So there was stock audit conducted and stock auditors signed. And they said, yes, there is a stock. So branch manager, so someone from RO went due to this triggering. Okay, because central statutory auditor went here and no stock was found in the Marco Carbide. Now what is the version of this thing? Now I'm adding up the evidence. So there was no stock in this borrower accounts. So there was a CC account. Okay, there was CC account of CC limit of 7 crore was taken. But what will you do if you don't find any stock there lying with this? Yes, as Nitan sir said, it was a accommodation transaction. They were simply inflating debit and credit summation. And it was a tri-party funds was going A to B, B to C, C to A to B, B to C, C to A. It was running like this. So Marco was transferring, means selling things to Radhe. Radhe was selling things to Marco but Private Limited. Marco Private was selling us to us firm. So it was they were simply means transferring fund from here A to B, B to C. Like this, they were happening things. Okay, an interesting thing which even I want to again clear out. So as Nitan sir said, you can always play with your limits. Okay. Now typically what you will see to circumvent crossing means that 90 days thing, they will always put a accommodation transaction to again pull your pull back your balance means below this limit. Okay. So probably if my balance starts overdrawing, okay, you should immediately see. Okay. Now, what does this tells you? Is there any hint? Is there any hint? I will select 1, 2, 3, these transactions, or maybe these two transactions, or maybe. Let me select this 2 to 3 rows. Okay. Okay. Month end, August. What do you see? Or maybe I should choose another month where they are literally playing with the things. Okay, they are literally playing with the things. So whenever, if you see, whenever, yes, at the end, naturally they will put some credits and pull this below the drawing power. Okay. Try to see at the month end, whenever interest is going to be charged, immediately some credit would come. Okay. But how come now it became our seller also? So I can see a credit again from Marco Carbide Private Limited. So I demonstrate, I show you some debits from it. Okay. Am I audible? I can see some means
Yes,
network
sir.
issue error.
Yes, sir. Intermittently, you were not audible for 10 seconds, sir. Now,
Okay, sorry.
yes.
Okay, now this is very interesting thing. Marco Carbide. At the end of month, when our DP was going shooting up, okay, 7 crore. So Carbide immediately credited us with fund. Now, don't you think this is something fishy? Or what are your observations about this? Forum is open.
Sir, it might be a 90-day game.
Yes. It was 90-day game. Yes, definitely 90-day game. And this was the thing where they literally were in problem. So can we say that means can a single party be a debtor and creditor? Can it be? I'm not saying anything. I
It
have
is
two views.
related party transaction.
Yeah, exactly. So even if the party claims, no, we even sell and we even purchase from it, now already it is proved it is a relation related party thing, and it is simply they are accommodating things. It is simply accommodation transaction. So they are simply boosting their debit credit submissions, nothing more. So the real game is something different. Okay, now, so what we did, the next thing to write something and some good points, we started making pivots table. And this is where our pivot table comes in help. Okay, let's add one column called party. Okay, so that things are in our control. Okay, so I'll say Marco. Okay, and I will just write Marco here, copy and paste it. Sorry, paste it here. Okay, the next keywords is Aditya. Okay, Aditya, or maybe their spelling is different. Nath. Okay, Radhe, Nath, and Ramashri. Radhe. So I'll write Radhe, Control C, paste it like this, alt semicolon, and paste it. Next is Amrut. Now I'm going to show you some very important. Sometime pivot table can produce a great information, great source of information from us. Rameshri. Okay. Rama. Okay. So I think this is a. Now let's see an interesting thing. Let's
Adinath is
select this.
pending.
So let's select all this thing. Okay, let's select all this thing. I will go to insert pivot table. Okay. And I want to do a very nice analysis. So I'm going to drag party or keywords here, and I'm going to say what are the debits, what are the, sorry, what are the debits and credits. We'll say sum of. Let me zoom this. Let me zoom this a bit. We put some number formatting here. Okay, so let me remove blank from here, from our example. Okay, I don't want blank here. Okay, now please tell me. Okay, I just removed blank from the filtering. Now, does it hints to anything?
I think, sir, Nitan sir has already answered the question in the chat box.
Okay. Yes, round tripping. So this thing was enough for us and of evidence that how can so it is almost equaling. Okay, almost equaling. They would not try to very much equal it up, but they are almost equaling. So we mentioned this. Yes, total is almost near. Debit and credit is almost near. So we said that if you exclude all the means these parties, then it looks correct. Okay, then it's look perfect. But if we just pick up all these parties, then it looks something fishy. Sell entry made. Okay. And this evidence we literally, so we made a table and we literally made evidence of this in our LFAR. Just, it was just simple observation in LFAR, but this helped us lot. So this helped statutory auditor to going somewhere in good direction. Okay. And the next year we went to audit in different branch and we came to know that that facility was declared as NPA and there was no stock. There was no stock lying in the facility. It was entire write-off. Bank couldn't sell anything because there was no stock. Okay, so this way we can do good analysis. So for any good analysis, you always need to start with importing thing. So I'm just insisting that let's say if we have 10 or 20 CC accounts, just start focusing on 3 to 4, 5 to 6 accounts, or maybe call up for the CC account statement. Okay, this text dump for 5 to 6 CC accounts because you don't have to repeat import. It is one time. You set up a Power Query, import that statement into Excel, and again, we cannot very much automate this thing of our red flag analysis, but I think that's what we are meant for. Okay, so this is very smart thing. You can do this. So get this work done from your article of importing the statement, or maybe if you don't have article or stuff, set up a Power Query. Okay, and automate this. And once you automate this, then we can apply our, you can always start profiling. You can start writing keywords of the party to find out such accommodation transaction. Okay, I'm not saying every statement you would get, but sometime you can get this thing. So this is the thing I want to share, and this is a real life scenario. Okay, this is not a fake scenario. This is a real life scenario. Only thing is that I have made the party names and amounts everything as dummy. So I change all the text. It was very rigorous exercise, but I wanted to share this with all our CA community. That's with this Excel, keywords, Power Query, and pivot reports, profiling something like this, we were able to uncover many things which help us a lot with our audits.
Thank you so much, sir,
Yes,
for the wonderful
yes.
presentation and your inputs on Power Query and covering so many practical aspects on uses of CBS report for bank. Nitan sir, our chairman and the author of The Accidental Hacker and the author of more than 16 books. Sir, what are your closing remarks for the day, sir?
Well, closing remarks, the best part of our closing remarks is that it is closing. But we are closing with a lot to digest, a lot to be scared of in case we have not done this earlier. In case we have not done this earlier, what what we may have left, which may be a ticking bomb. So it is a warning to us that technology we should not be scared of. Things we should keep on learning. And as a philosophy, many people say that until the last moment of your life, you should be learning. So this is one of the things we have to learn. And today it is more important because the employees are under pressure for target. And then they tolerate such borrowers knowingly. When they tolerate such borrowers knowingly, they don't take responsibility. The problem is it lies upon us. Then we have to answer for our code of conduct, whether we are negligent or not, and all that stuff. So we have to use this and judiciously use our discretion and analysis to arrive at a very firm conclusion. Either we say it is not, or it is probable, or it is something, but don't be vague. Like we have seen in a lot of big fraud cases, they're very vague. We are not aware if these creditors have not given their confirmation balances, etc. Just go ahead and directly mention it, and the conclusions are there in statistics. The figures are there. So it is a very good power, power, power given to us under the technology. So make use of it. That's what I say, and I thank the speaker for giving a very interactive, a very practical account, taking effort to hide the data. That's very nice of him to do so, and allowing us to think on our feet and scratch our brains to arrive, and it gives us chance to do that. Thank you. Have a very good seminar.
Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to inform all the participants that this video is available on the YouTube channel of Views Exchange Chartered Accountant Study Circle, and as a token of vote of thanks on behalf of all the 4 branches, I would like to thank Nitan sir, Dungar sir in absentia, and Dhananjay sir for the wonderful presentation. I am pretty sure the precious knowledge that all of them gave us today will definitely help us in our day-to-day work and the audits of bank. Thank you all for taking out time from your busy schedule and enlightening us with the immense knowledge. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Nitesh sir, can we close the session? I think we should close the session. It's 1:52 right now, and on this Sunday afternoon, we have more than 200 people with us still there. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.